Next, we've got the lovely Aga. Some people sort of say she's a Polish version of Gordon Ramsay mixed with a white version of Whitney Houston. She's got the voice of an angel, the kitchen repertoire of Gordon Ramsay, and the mouth of Gordon Ramsay as well. So Aga's gonna. This is the sort of first one she's ever done. She's shit in her pants. She's had a glass of wine. She smashed a pack of Haribos. But she's really impressed me so far. She's done a little video of a workshop for meal prep, which was amazing. Really good video. And this is just a bit of a question and answer session. We'll hear a little bit about how Aga's sort of change her sort of lifestyle habits and nutrition choices and why. And then we'll sort of do a little bit of a Q&A on some tips for meal prep and stuff, and you guys can ask some questions. So go ahead, Aga.
Right, well, after this introduction, I don't think I've got much more to add. But before I start, I thought I'll let you tell you a few things about myself. You know, lots of you know me from Extreme. I'm one of the fitness instructors, a resident foreigner, and you can easily find me in the gym. If you're trying to just follow the trail of, food crumbs everywhere, snacking is my hobby. But on a serious note, I kind of want to say about my weight loss journey. It started about 10 years ago, but that wouldn't be quite accurate because I have battled with my weight most of my life. In childhood, I was always convinced by my family that I had I was a big bone child, not really sure what that means to this day. But, as an 8-9-year-old, you just convince yourself you had, massive dinosaur bones and that made you look big. So basically you could eat what you want, when you want. And that was that. When I was little at meal times, you had to clear the plate. There was no way out. If you liked your meal or didn't, the content had to go. It was considered disrespectful if you didn't. So because you've been told that your mum has been slaving over the stove for 3 hours. So very early on, I got into the habit that smashing all your food means you're in good books. So it's a difficult cycle to break, when you're a teenager. And despite, being this overweight kid on the block, I was always very active. But it's not until my late teens, when my football t-shirts started to look like they were sprayed on, I realized that maybe it's not just a big dinosaur bones, but something else going on. And so I came home, I told my mum, I was fat, and she said, well, you have to go on a diet. Well, neither me or my mum knew anything about nutrition. So diet basically meant you still had to clear your plate, but just, skip the pudding. And you had a massive bowl of stew, taties still going down the hatch. So nothing in a way was going to change in a hurry. So at the ripe age of 18, I packed my bags and my big bones and left for uni. And I was chuffed to bits, as in theory I could be in charge of my own food in a way. Well, that didn't go into plan because obviously the whole new concept, the alcohol, presented itself. And who would have thought that there were so many calories in drinks, the snacks you ate and, the late night trips to the kebab shop that followed. The worst thing, that you were so drunk that you never realized you ate. And then the next morning, finding that last piece of cold, half-eaten pizza, just hitting a jackpot, wasn't it? 3 years went fast. I remember, maybe a year of it, but I was 2 stone heavier. And quite grateful that my graduation tunic was, one of them one size fits all. Fast forward a few years, this big lump of dinosaur bones got married and, realized that things needed to change. So I've joined the Weight Watchers, the Slimming World, drank all the shakes that were available, whatever the weight loss craze was. And, I shat like there was no tomorrow, pardon the words. And weight loss obviously wasn't a problem. I was absolutely committed, food for some bizarre reason stopped being fuel, but, points and everything had points equivalent. So I'm counting them points since it's like it's going out of fashion. Lists of calories all over the house. This kale and rosemary smoothie at the ready, and I would grab every opportunity to eat, the free foods. And as much as I achieved my weight loss very quickly, then the day I was left on my own, the weight started piling back on. So within weeks of me reaching, my goal weight or becoming the star slimmer, I went back to the cupboards, to the wardrobe, to rush for them size 22 pants, and nearly starting, a house fire, burning the well done stickers and certificates I got, because I was so frustrated that I just couldn't do it on my own. I was painfully unhappy, and I would not look in the mirror. I did not want to go out. I had every excuse for, not socializing. And because I saw no way out of it, I just stuffed my face even more. It was horrible. It was a horrible time. And it was summer of 2010, and my little boy just turned 2. We went to like a park or whatever, and my husband sneakily took a photo of me. I always hated having my photo taken and just seeing myself. It was a rare occurrence that he did take it. And then we went home and I saw that photo, and literally the whole world came crashing down. You know which photo I mean?
I'm just trying to find it.
It looked like I was about to eat my own child. It's just, I had more chins than a Chinese phone book, and more fat rolls than an average seal. I stepped on the scales. Bam! It was nearly 18 stone. Something had to change. I could barely run after my active 2-year-old. I struggled getting up from the floor without an almighty roar, and I developed this like a 3-way swinging system to get off the sofa. And when you think about it now, I should have patented it because it was quite good. And anyways, I went back to the library. I started to read all things food and nutrition related. I knew unless I understood how my body works and what it needs, I won't be able to help myself, when I'm on my own. I had terrible relationship with food from childhood. I always viewed food in a really bad light through many diet plans. I use food as comfort as well. I had not only had to change my diet, but also the way I thought about food. And so like this, crazy woman, armed with all the books I had and whatever, I've made this plan, and I started sort of calorie counting, looking at nutritional values of food. I started the meal prep and, exercise. When I say exercise, at 18 stone, it was just walking. You could think, how much can you achieve with walking? But actually, when you're that weight, it's quite a bit. So my first attempt, I remember this like today, of walking, it was very simple. Literally, I walked after dark so nobody could see me. I was so embarrassed. The fact that I even wanted to exercise at that weight, I felt very self-conscious. Initially, I kind of walked half a mile, and that was it. My legs were absolutely shot. I was out of breath. Half a mile, that was it. But despite of feeling all the feelings I had, I persevered. And each day I walked longer and longer. I could do physically more, with a massive support of my father-in-law. At a ripe age of 27, I decided to learn how to cook. And, the learn is a big word, because to this day, Craig, my husband, owes his strong immune system to all my early food disasters, all the things he had to eat. But I always said to him, it was character building, and it made him who he is now. So yet again, I felt like I was failing at something. I couldn't cook, so I needed to learn. I needed to self-improve. So off I went back to town, back to this library. I got lots of cookery books. I read, and I was so much into them that my accent started to change. It was a blend of like Gino Di Campo and the Harry Bikers, for a fair few months. But despite sounding stranger, my cooking skills began to improve. I started enjoy the food I made. and things were going in right direction. But it was not all sunshine and light. You know, I had bad days, sometimes bad weeks. I would come up with like lots of excuses not to carry on. But these were outweighed by, you know, lots of good days. And like everyone, I had some success, but at the same time, I felt like I was going to give up millions of times. But again, I persevered. You know, one good thing from being as stubborn as a mule is the ability to never give up. So how long did it take me to get from sort of 18 stone to 9? You think weeks, months? Nope. It was about 2 years. My body adjusted, my fitness level went through the roof. I was climbing the fells, I started to run. Like, I felt like I was living my best life. And I felt like I wasn't trapped in this, like, a terrible mindset and, you know, this big bone T-Rex body that I always had. And this, you know, I've changed completely how I look at food. You know, my body confidence grew. Everybody commented on my success, and, you know, it felt good. Now my body weight, after, you know, getting to about 9 stone, stayed more or less the same, you know, plus minus 5-6 pounds. But I was okay with that, because I felt if I needed a few pounds off, I knew how I can pull back and how to do it. So here's me living my best, you know, 9 stone life. But something started to go wrong. You know, I have no energy. I'm very lethargic. I have cramps in my stomach. Like, it's so bad that, you know, I had to go and bulk buy toilet rolls in Booker's. You know, I was projectile vomiting in restaurants. Like, everyday activities became impossible. So rather than using the usual, you know, trusted Google doctor or, you know, Karen or Facebook, I phoned my doctors and seek help, and very quickly they diagnosed me with celiac disease after a series of tests. And yet again, I found myself back in the books, you know, learning how to manage and how to adjust my life and diet. It was also at that moment I realized I'm not invincible, that I only have one body and one attempt at life, you know, and I am now quite vulnerable. Autoimmune disease like celiac means your immune system isn't working as it should. It's not protecting your body. I mean, it's scary shit. And you know, millions of questions were flowing in my head. Was my life before I overhauled my diet, you know, doing all the damage? You know, I'll never know. But what I know now is that I will do whatever I can to just make sure I look after my health and, you know, cherish each opportunity that is given to me, even if I have to do a Facebook Live with my boss. And, you know, what really came to light when I reflect on my journey is that I had to learn the hard way, but it made me who I am now. Being involved in, like, fitness world now and knowing what I know now, it would be so much easier if in my early days I chose professional help, maybe, you know, a PT, a nutrition coach, somebody that kept me accountable, and, you know, somebody who taught me the basics of nutrition and weight loss without going to that library 500 times and bringing tons of books. You know, I reckon having somebody to guide me would sort of, I would find the process a lot less frustrating and painful. So, you know, that's you know, that's some of my journey. Now you kind of know why I'm so much into food and such a big advocate for meal prep. You know, I always want to say to people, you don't have to be like a bodybuilder to partake. It saves heaps of time in, like, weeks when you normally have little spare time. You know, it seems like an arduous task sometimes, but importance, it's really so important, just achieving your goals, and it can really be underestimated. You know, knowing what to eat, how much to eat, when to eat, and, you know, preparing your meals is one of the most important aspects of me achieving, you know, healthy and balanced diet. Oh my God, I didn't realize I just waffle on. Sorry. Oh my God.
I'll tell you, pissed off that glass of wine that you had. I was just sitting here thinking, she's meant to be nervous. She's been messaging me all day saying she's nervous. Really good, that Aga.
Oh, thanks, dude.
And it shocked me, the fact that you weren't a very good cook at some point. Like,
No.
because of the way you are now, obviously you're designing all our recipes and stuff. And literally, like, if I design a recipe, I go on Google, find some shit, and 9 times out of 10, I probably didn't even cook it. I just fired worked the calories out, worked the macros, bang. And I was very, very, very lucky that all the meals were nice, but there could have been minging. Like, Aga makes one, and then she'll make 20 different versions of it. She's been working on our vegetarian lean at the minute, and we're doing a reloaded 2, so brand new recipes and brand new plans. Literally, same dish 20 times, and half a teaspoon of this spice, and then she'll up it 3/4 of a teaspoon. But she everything needs to be perfect. And like, the vegetarian meals look like vegetarian and me don't go, but I'm looking at this shit she's making, and I'm thinking, so I'm going to try that, but I'm going to fire a bit of chicken in, a bit of bacon. But the meals look mega. And I think vegetarians, they often get like left out of everything, don't they? You go to the pub and it's like, what vegetarian meals have you got? We've got like salad, or we've got some veg lasagna, and they are getting better now. But like, these meals that Aga's been producing for it, they look mega. But
It's like, don't be afraid of trying new things. As a child, I was, despite having to eat lots, I was a really fussy eater, and I wouldn't try things because my mom made like weird shit that you had to eat. So when I started to learn to cook, just have a go at it. Like, all these spices, all herbs, they're calorie free. Sometimes it will work well, sometimes it won't, but at least you tried something. Best people made, or best dishes are made by making lots of mistakes. Even with the challenge you gave me of vegetarian lean, even though I've whinged about the whole process of having to cook food for vegetarians, I actually enjoy it now, and just it makes sense in my head, and that we can help other sort of group of people, so they're just smashing corn and whatever chicken pieces and pasta, because a lot of them they just smash pasta because it's vegetarian food.
And exactly. And the thing with veggies, like, everybody just thinks, so there's vegetarians eating vegetables, so they'll all be dead lean. But like you say, because they don't know what else to make with it, they're just smashing loads of pasta, and it's very easy to get overweight eating pasta because everybody overeats on pasta.
I think having the variety of meals, so you're not stuck in the rut. You won't be tempted to get the takeaway, because whatever you can make at home actually tastes very similar to the takeaway. And I remember somebody a couple of months ago asked for salt and pepper chicken, and I've never had a salt and pepper chicken. So I actually ordered a couple of takeaways, tasted it, and I made sure it tasted a lot alike, so people can make the healthy choice, can make it at home, and it's just finding the balance. If you can make the same meal in 20 minutes at home, will you be driving down the takeaway? Well, I won't.
And I think that's the key, isn't it? It's like, it's trying to make it easy and convenient, and so people do it. And I think every single person we've had on lean, the ones that are constantly posting the meal prep, constantly cooking, they're the ones that are successful at it. The ones that are trying to wing it and wake up in the morning and make a few meals, they normally fail after like a week or two. And like, everything on our lean menu, you probably find everything you can find on the internet and make as a recipe can be frozen. So it's like, if you make one portion of something, why not make 10? Put it in a Tupperware dish, write the calories on there, put in the date that you put it in there. The more food that you can get stocked up in that freezer, everybody has bad days. So if you can come home and you've had a bad day or a bad week, but you've got like 20 meals in the freezer, you can just get them out and microwave them. You're on to a winner. And I think that's where a lot of people lose out, isn't it?
Yeah, when life gets what life does, throws something unexpected in your path, offers tempting treats that aren't in your plan, dangles, spontaneous like a workplace happy hour. It's easy to stray away from your best intentions, but if you have prep meals and whatever snacks ahead of time, you're onto a winner. Having a healthy meal waiting for you in the fridge, makes it easier to pass on the fishy Friday or Karen's birthday cheesecake. I don't mean have slice of cheesecake, have whatever you like, but how to curb it back when you come home. And if you've been stuck on like a lengthy meeting, and we've got lots of people sort of working in Sellafield, so they're busy as out, it's easy to convince yourself that you've just run down the street and pick up a kebab or order a Chinese. But if you have a healthy meal waiting for you at home in the fridge, you can kind of defeat that temptation. Then that ready meal is closer and faster. So the meal prep for me takes the guesswork and potentially bad decisions out of food. When you're hungry at lunchtime, you will eat the first thing that crosses your path. And having a prep meal, I feel for me, cuts back on the anxiety, food anxiety, or insecurity, and allows me to make proper food decisions in a way.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head before when you said you started to love cooking. I feel like I need the passion for it. So I've went through phases where I've been making really nice meals with herbs and spices, and I'm feeding it to Emma, Sienna, and they absolutely love it. And I get a bit of a buzz off that. And then I've done meal prep where I'm very much chicken and rice and broccoli, and I get no satisfaction in that. And then Emma's not going to eat it. So I think it's fine. Like I was talking to Rob, if I'm going on holiday or I'm doing a competition and I've got X amount of week to get in really good shape, I can sort of say to Emma, look, can't really eat what we're eating at night time, but with all our lean meals, and there's lots of recipes on the internet, everyone who's signed up to this event has got 5 of our recipe books. So getting them out, making them for your whole family, on our lanes, the biggest problem is the kids eating everybody's meal prep. The piggy pots, the kids are taking them out of the fridges and eating them before the mum and dads get them. So if you can get to that point where your whole family's enjoying that food, it's very satisfying for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all the food that I eat, my boys eat. They're the first guinea pigs, and they tell me if it's nice or not, or if I need to change something. But it doesn't mean that I'm making lots of other meals. We all eat as family. We don't have meals that you can't. We have chilies, we have curries, we have lasagnas. We're not just smashing salads. But I think that's the important thing. Sitting down in the evening, sharing the whole meal, having the time to speak to your family. I think it all adds to this whole this aids your weight loss, and this aids the purpose, because the weight loss becomes so much easier when you've got so many people at home supporting you because they like what you make.
Yeah, and sometimes it's experience, isn't it? Like sitting down with your family and having that meal, and you've put that effort into it. Like I've seen a lot of people say, "Why would you make a lasagna when you can buy it in the microwave it for 2 minutes?" But for me,
I do understand how meal prepping can feel, especially when you're just starting, really, really daunting. But rather than thinking about prepping for 7 days, focus on 3 or 4 instead. This way you still need to cook twice a week, but not every single day. Remember when I first started, I could get focused on meal planning, that I would get so focused on the meal planning pad that I would get really overwhelmed when I never actually got to actual prepping. But by thinking 1, 2, 3 days instead of 7, you learn how to walk before you in a way you try to run.
Yeah, and I think with meal prep, obviously with our lean, they get 6 different days to you every 2 weeks. And I always say to people, if you try and make all of them 6 days, every single day is a different day, you're going to be in the kitchen for a long time. If you can, from a bodybuilding point of view, I've done a bodybuilding diet for 12 weeks eating chicken and rice 6 times a day. So if I'm eating the same thing 2 or 3 days in a row, especially nice meals like curries, lasagnas, chilies, I'm not going to get sick of that. But from a meal prep type of point of view, it's just so simple, isn't it? If you're trying to mix it up every single day of the week, I think that's when it becomes, anything that becomes a chore, people just knock on the head and they don't do it. So I think,
But then when
although...
you think about cooking every day, when you have to food prep every day and then you forget something, you have to go to the supermarket. When you take, 5 days or 7 days a week, having to prepare family meals, wash up after all that, and, going to the shops probably 3 times a week, then when you think, well, if I can do it in a day, in 2 hours, just, think of, with all the free time you can do, you can go, you can watch, you can, go for a walk, whatever, rings your bell. Dinging.
Exactly. And I think like the meal prep workshop video that you've done, really good. In fact, I think you could star in like a film or something. You were that good.
Excuse me, I'm booked up with my singing contracts for a few years now.
Obviously, you prepped a shit ton of meals. I don't even know how many meals in like a very short space of time.
It was 50 minutes from start to finish.
50 minutes.
Massive, well, probably was the whole pot, because I usually double up on all the ingredients. So I could make, good 30, 40 meals in that time. But you have to be quite regimented, know what you want to do, know what your next plan. Don't try to make 7 things at a time. When you do, your oats, it's quick scoop, swipe it up.
There was no leveling off for yours.
No, level. Well, I want it to be fast. Level it off, bam, 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 into pots, into the fridge or a freezer. That's our new discovery. We've discovered that we can freeze the oats. So like it helps you so much that you can't make those bad decisions. You can't say, oh, I haven't had any breakfast, I'll just go pelican and grab myself one of those, chocolate chip healthy muffins from the counter, where you can have this grab and go meal ready in the fridge.
Yeah, and I think that discovery on the frozen overnight oats is a bit of a game changer, because for me, everything I prepped, I could freeze, and the overnight oats was something I could only make maybe 4 and get away with, and then they started going a bit funky. So the fact that you've worked out that you can actually freeze them and get them out, that's breakfast. So who wants to get up and fanny about with breakfast? If you can just pop something out the night before the freezer, wake up and eat it, you're onto a winner. And I think when they see the workshop video, it shows you how easy it is. But obviously for speed, when Aga was doing the overnight oats, her cup measurement was shocking. So do not watch the video and look at her cup measuring. She's got the most weird cup you've ever seen in your life. It's like a horseshoe thing. So for me, like a lot of the recipes we use cups in, because rather than weighing out individual ingredients, if you get a level cup of oats or a level cup of yogurt, there's going to be roughly this many calories in. So it just speeds up the process. So you can get that cup scoop in, put your oats in, rather than putting them in a bowl, tipping them out, measuring them. It speeds that process up. Yeah, it's not going to be 100% accurate, but the time it saves is more of a reward on top of the calories. Unless you were doing a bodybuilding diet and every single calorie counted, the time it speeds up makes more efficient use of your time, and anything that's easier will help you stick to this long term, I think.
Definitely, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, overnight oats, some people say, oh, I don't like the consistency, I don't like the yogurt. But freezing it actually changes the consistency. You don't have to add the water, it's much more palatable, and it takes the sourness of the yogurt. So, it's a winner for me. It's a winner in our house.
I'm going to have to try it. Has anybody got any questions for the Polish Gordon Ramsay?
Just for any pre-answers, when it comes to singing, I'm booked up till December, so absolutely not available for any gigs, and obviously probably couldn't afford me because I'm such a diva.
I think we should do like a little karaoke night one night.
I definitely think you don't want that. Not if you want this charity event to go well.
What I could say is if we don't hit 7 grand, Aga's going to just sing for 24 hours on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll need a lot of sweets and a lot of wine.
That'd be quite good to sing for 24. See if you could sing for 24 hours.
No, maybe not.
Has anybody got any questions regarding meal prep? Any questions regarding singing? Any questions regarding Haribos? Anything Aga's good at? Snacking? Has anybody got any autoimmune diseases? Crohn's, colitis? Celiac? Gluten-free? Like, Aga is the person to speak to on this. My wife's gluten intolerant and dairy intolerant, so she's got loads of help off Aga. Aga rocked up with this cheesecake with her one time. She was absolutely over the moon. But she slags her off all the time now because she hasn't been back up with another. So you can't do right for doing wrong. Like, even if you make someone a really nice dairy-free cheesecake, they're still going to slag you off because you're not doing it every day.
I have to.
Well, we've got some questions. Right. So, Rosemary, you're so brilliant. Aga, I love you. Oh, Rosemary, stop feeding her ego. You made me so comfortable coming into the gym.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Claire, how many days after prepping meals do you leave it in the fridge?
So I leave it for up to 5 days. But if I find sort of maybe on the 5th day, I'll just have a quick look at it. But no more than like 4 to 5 days, Claire. Just if you think you're not going to eat it, just bang it in the freezer because obviously that's going to preserve it anyway. That's a good question.
And it's very individual, this, isn't it? Like I know people who would meal prep anything, but they wouldn't meal prep chicken, and they get freaked out if it's a day later. I think freezing everything, if you've got a big enough freezer, you know for a fact it's going to be fresh. If you get it out the night before and you eat it, less chance of freaking yourself out a little bit. The only time I would really have some in the fridge is if I knew maybe 3 days and I was going to like clatter through it. And a lot of the time with me, sometimes even if a meal prep, something comes up and I'm busy and I'll go out and I have to do something. If I don't eat that meal, it gets wasted. Whereas if it was frozen and I took it out the night before, I still got a couple of days left on it.
Yeah, just be careful when you're freezing things like rice. Obviously, it needs to be properly heated through because there's all sorts of sort of bacteria in it, etc. I mean, I'm not saying don't make rice. Just heat it properly. I mean, there's one of the things that I did invest is like a little food probe. It was only about like £8-10, but I make sure everything is piping hot, and obviously that my husband won't be ill again.
Yeah, Claire says she's always a bit wary after a couple of days.
Yeah, just bang it in the freezer. Freezer, kills the bacteria growth process, and take it out the night before you have it. Quickly microwave it, and you'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I think freezer's the way forward. Like, Rosemary's been doing a prep while she's been watching as well.
Hey, excellent, Rosemary. Rosemary's a pro.
Yeah, Claire, food probes are awesome, especially for chicken when you're cooking chicken as well. Just to make
I've made today Scotch eggs on the smoker.
They actually look like balls,
They look amazing, don't they? They're going to taste even better. I was just waiting for them to like cool down.
So what? Scotch egg? What's wrapped around them?
So it's a Black Forest ham, which is like a Parma ham but smoked. But obviously, I use lean pork to wrap around the egg, and just that ham will keep it together. And obviously, such a low amount of calories. It's full of protein. You just can't.
What sort of sausage meat do you use?
I use just a Cumberland gluten-free, or chicken sausage. Yeah. So I mean, if you have got access to a good butcher, my butcher does everything gluten-free. So I mean, I trust what he does is right. But you can get a great selection of things from the supermarket that You can use it in the lower fat options, etc. But obviously you're adding lots of flavor because you're wrapping that thin Parma ham around it.
Yeah.
When it's in the barbecue or smoker, that will render nicely. So you actually left with a very, very lean meal.
Yeah.
And egg, sausage meat, and meat on the top. Obviously not for vegetarians there. So that's not a vegetarian recipe. That's a reload recipe.
Them gold standard sausages that I got, like, it amazes me that they're actually chicken sausage. Like, I messaged him and I said, look, these are pork sausages. You've got them mixed up. And he said, no. He said, I thought that. And I went back to the butchers and it's right.
I think there's so much like research into the foods because people are really wanting to reduce the fat content that they will make things to taste better. For that reason.
It's like a pork sausage. It was beautiful.
I know you love sausage.
Yeah, I love sausage. And I tasted that gluten-free chicken one you gave Emma, and it didn't have a patch on them gold standard ones. It was what I expected from a chicken sausage, a bit drier, not as tasty. It was nice. It was all right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying them. So see whether we can incorporate them in some recipes, possibly even the piggy pots we make. Rather than use sausages, obviously we reduce them. So there's already plans for when we get them in stock, how we can use them. Yeah.
Like, I can't tell whether Claire's being serious or not. Anyway, yeah, she really struggles to find a decent sausage. Like, is she on about real sausages, or like I don't? Like, I don't know.
It could go two ways. It could go either way. So we're going to advise on
especially lockdown. It's really, really hard to find a decent sausage in lockdown.
I'm sure you can find some at home, but keep rotting in the freezer.
Oh, she loves a nice Cumberland sausage. Well, you're in a good place in Cumbria to get a nice Cumberland sausage. And yeah, you're right. Too many calories, Claire. The ones that sell down in the Pelican Garage, they're done from Lindsay's Butchers, and they're beautiful. And I smashed one, and it was 800 calories. There is some low-fat ones, which are all right. Obviously not as nice as a proper Cumberland sausage, but probably half the calories. But sausage and burgers are a bit of an unknown, because to get them nice, you need a good fat content in there to make them tasty and juicy. But the calories can just be mega, and especially if you're going out for a meal, it's like Russian roulette. It could be 300 calories, or it could be 1,000 calories.
That's why it's best to smash them on a barbecue. Do them yourself, smash them on a barbecue, and 500 calories is a nice little limit. You can sort of, when I make the recipes, I think to myself, well, 500 calories is a good sort of limit for a burger. So we can we've done recently with sweet chili that had a really good response, because we send the recipes to our members every week on the Friday and get 3 new recipes, and it was quite a good response from those sweet chili burgers. So
yeah, well, I Ricky, who owns Zest Arbicide's my friend, and I said to him, look,
but never mind.
I was like, why don't you let me help you with the menu? I'll work the calories out. You can have a sort of calorie value next to everything. And I said, our members, you will get more of them because they're watching what they eat, but they still want to go out and have a life. And he gave us all the burgers first for some reason, and I worked them out. And a lot of most burgers are over 1,500 calories. Some of them are heading towards 2,000, 2,500 calories.
You want people to know it if you're a business owner. You don't want
it's like, tell us that. Give us the salads and the chicken meals. But like burgers, when you go out, you're talking between at least 1,000 calories, maybe 2,500.
And your drinks, and your daily allowance.
Ultimately, if they made a lean burger, who wants a lean burger? If you're going out for a meal, you want something juicy and tasty, you can make a lean burger at home. But it's like, if you're going out, expect between 1,000 and 2,500 calories for the burger meal.
But occasionally, it's not a bad thing. If you save your calories through the week, it's absolutely fine.
Claire says on all accounts regarding the sausage, especially in the current lockdown. Nicola Dunn says Aga's sweet chili burgers are the best.
Oh, thanks, Nick.
Yeah, get them burgers made, Claire. Have a little go at them. You can roll it up to be the shape of a sausage if you wanted, and just pretend it's a sausage.
Oh my God.
Anybody got any more questions?
I hope children are not watching.
Aga's always a bad influence on us. This is just going to get ruder. So let's ask all your questions and we'll get finished up before it gets any worse. I'm going to post Aga's video in the Facebook group of meal prep. It's very professional. She's edited it herself and she's done an awesome job of it. She sent me across.
You weren't saying that 2 days ago.
She sent me across and told me I could edit it myself, but to be honest, I couldn't have done any better. She's done a really good job of it. So I'll post it in the group now. Have a little look through that. She talks you through some breakfast, some dinner, some mains, some little hints and tips as well. Do not take any notice of her scoops of a protein and yogurt. Do that better yourselves. Right, thank you very much, Aga. If anybody comments and ask any question on this thread, then just give me a little tinkle. It might be nicer if you do a little video message for each one and post it.
Oh, I will do.
All right, thanks very much. See you later. Thank you.